Hello and welcome to NABOR's Real Talk. I'm your host, Shannon Livingston, and today we're going to go behind the brand of Buckeye Lending Solutions with my guest, Steve Fishman. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am fantastic. I think I'm doing better than you, actually, because it looks like you're a little injured today.
Yeah, I have a broken wing.
Yeah, did somebody push you out of your nest, or what happened there?
No, I had that old football injury that caught up to me, and I had to have the shoulder replaced.
Gotcha. Well, I hope that it is something bionic, and maybe you can answer your phone with it, or I don't know what they're doing with technology these days.
Just going to light up the airport is all.
Oh, great. Well, maybe they give you a little card
Yeah.
so that you can get through faster.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to be here today, sling and all, and I hope that you're healing quickly so that you can get out there and solve some lending problems, because that's the name of your company. So Buckeye Lending Solutions, or that's the correct name, right?
Correct.
I always screw things up, and so I'm so glad to get that correct. So I do want to talk a little bit about your business, of course, but I also, behind the brand, want to get to know you, because you're a very interesting person. We're friends on social media. I follow you a little bit, and mortgages aren't the most exciting thing. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to insult you. Maybe you love them. Do you think they're exciting?
They can be exciting, they could be upsetting, they could be a plethora of different things.
Yeah.
I think right now some people are finding it a little bit upsetting. So with the market rates a little higher and things like that. But you know what? It's been my career for many years, and it excites me. So,
and we've talked before about your business, and I do love that it is exciting for you. You love what you do. You love to help people, and you're very proud of where you come from, hence the name,
yes.
Buckeye. So you're from Ohio.
Originally from Ohio, yep.
And you still have a branch in Ohio as well.
I have staff in Ohio. We don't have a physical branch there.
Okay.
My physical office is here in Florida, but we do have staff in Ohio.
Gotcha. And how long have you been in the mortgage game?
I'm going on almost 30 years in the industry, so I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, and I've seen the flat lines, but it's all good.
And you are a mortgage broker, which
Correct.
means that you bring a lot more options to people than just a mortgage banker. You're able to find more creative solutions for people.
Correct. We have an opportunity where a bank or a mortgage bank, as you said, if they say no, it's no. Where if I have one of my investors say no, I have the opportunity to take it and move it to a different investor who still may have the opportunity to say yes.
Mm-hmm. And you know how important it is sometimes to get a little bit creative within ethical guidelines, of course,
Absolutely.
but to think outside the box, because you have also seen the real estate side. You have spent time as a licensed real estate agent, and you are married to a real estate agent. So you are literally feeling the pain of all of the agents out there that you serve.
Certainly, yeah. I've been a licensed agent for years, licensed broker here in Florida, a licensed sales agent in Ohio, and I don't sell insurance, real estate, but I do have the same knowledge as my referral partners.
Mm-hmm.
It's important for me to know what they need to know to help them get transactions completed.
Absolutely. And what is it that makes you so excited about helping people with their finances?
I just like to be able to take somebody from A to Z and get them to help them achieve their ultimate goal. Whether it's an investment property, a vacation home, or their primary residence. I enjoy getting them to the point where they desire.
Because it's a little bit of a puzzle, right? It's a challenge.
Absolutely.
From A to Z, there are a lot of letters, right? 26 steps.
Sure.
That's a lot of steps.
Absolutely.
To make sure that you're getting that transaction closed smoothly. And sometimes it's not even about the transaction. Sometimes they're not ready for that.
Correct.
They can come to you and say, what do I need to do to be ready? And you can counsel them through that.
Absolutely. I mean, a typical transaction is not cookie cutter from you to me to the next person. So every transaction is, its own.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's credit may be different, somebody's income's different, what they're buying is different. So the point that you're making of them not being able to maybe do it now, I have the ability to look at what may be holding them back, give them the pieces to the puzzle to put together and say, hey, come back in 3 months, come back in 6 months, come back in a year. You might have to wait 2 years, and then we can revisit it. But the education piece of it, to make somebody aware of what they need to do to get there, is something that we do as well on a regular basis.
Yeah, and you really enjoy that.
I do.
The counseling people through that long period. As you said, maybe sometimes it's a 2-year period
Correct.
of reconciling their credit or whatever it is that needs to be done.
Right. I mean, someone just getting out of bankruptcy typically has to wait a little while, and so these are the things that they may not be aware of.
Yeah.
I do this every day, they don't, and that's why we take the opportunity to give them the education they need.
So what is in the future for Buckeye Lending Solutions? Do you see yourself really growing? Are you going to go back to real estate full time? Like, what is it that you're going to do with your business in the future?
Well, years ago, I chose mortgages, so that's my primary gig. If at some point I decide to add real estate or join my wife or something to that effect, it's something we've talked about. We haven't implemented, but at this point, mortgage is my primary focus. We're in one of those cycles, and so some people are prepared for the cycle. Some people will not make it through the cycle. I'd like to think that we're in a pretty positive position to make it through the lulls, but it also gives me the ability to educate myself and see what the market's going to need and be prepared for that when the cycle starts to dwindle down a little bit.
And at 30 years in the industry, certainly you've seen the cycle more than once.
Oh yes,
and
absolutely.
So you know how to help others through that.
And people say inflation and they say recession and all the things that they talk about, but typically with recessions, which it depends on who you ask, recessions bring lower rates, so it's not a negative.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what the economists are proposing are going to occur 2023, and we'll start to see a reduction. We've already started to see a little bit of a reduction in rates, and I think the consumer needs to understand that rates aren't permanent, and if you want something, buy it, and then we can always revisit rates as they lower.
Right, right. And really, there are so many different programs, so many different brokers, so many different mortgage bankers that you have to have partners that you trust. Somebody like yourself that is an expert where you can ask questions to even know when to refer a client. When is it time within that process? If somebody didn't qualify for a loan, you don't just let them go, right?
Correct.
You help them until they do qualify.
Absolutely. We put them in ticklers, we keep them in the loop, we put them on a calendar, we say, I can give somebody the information that they need to qualify. I can't make them do it.
Right.
So that's where we'll revisit it. And usually with a realtor partner, we'll kind of give them within the parameters of being private, of, follow up, you follow up. We'll all keep our hands on it, and hopefully they do what they need to do to achieve their ultimate goal.
So you're really working as a team to make sure that that customer is getting the best service and getting where they need to be.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so now I would like to, I've been looking at these cards because I do find mortgages just fascinating. But I would like to move on to your more personal side because we like to go behind the brand. Sure. And behind the brand, you are a fairly introspective person. You're really into nature. I know that you're a dog guy. I like that. Appreciate that about you. And we are going to find out so much more from these cards.
Okay.
So this is a little game that I came up with called Useless Information.
Full of it.
Yes, everybody is. But really what it is, these are all personality-based questions that are written on these cards. I wrote them myself.
Okay.
And they're just like tarot cards. So whatever cards you're supposed to have in this deck, you will find them. Now I'm going to do a little bit of the shuffling for you because you're working with one wing.
I am.
You're a wing down over there, so I'm going to do some of the hard work. But if you want to move the stack around, shuffle it or whatever, feel free to do so.
I have faith.
Otherwise, just choose 3 cards.
Okay. Let's do this one right here.
Okay, there's one.
There's one. We'll do this one right on
And
the top.
two.
And we'll take the bottom one.
Oh, all right. It's like a loaf of bread, right? The first piece, the last, and in the middle. Okay, question number 1. Do you celebrate your pets' birthdays?
Typically, I would. I'm currently petless.
Oh, that's
yes.
sad.
I unfortunately lost a pet, so I don't have it in me yet to replace the dog. But
What breed was your dog?
it was a rescue. Always a rescue.
See, how much do we like Steve?
A little bit of a mix, but I have my stepson living in the house who's pushing hard for a pet, so I figure it'll probably be sooner than later. But right now, but when we do, we will definitely celebrate, you know, all kinds of little hats and
all right. I like
bones.
that.
Yep.
I also am petless at this point and not ready. And when my little Zelda had a birthday, she loved being in the car. So we would do a lap around the neighborhood for every year.
Nice. There you go.
It was sweet. I know, I find a way to make these interviews about myself. Do you like that?
You know what? It's not all about me.
It is, actually. It is all about you. All right, back to you.
Okay.
Which game show do you want to be on?
Which one pays the most?
I don't know. Jeopardy, I don't know if it pays the most.
I'm smart enough for that one.
I see you on Jeopardy. Yeah. Maybe it's the glasses.
Is it? You think so?
Yeah.
I look more studious than I am?
Yeah. Well, and you understand mortgages, so that's pretty smart.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff when they pop those questions out there, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
what about one of those gladiator shows? Because you're pretty physical. You already have an injury, so, you know.
I've been beat up pretty good, but if I can make it through that, what do they call it, the gauntlet, then I would definitely give it a try.
Yeah? Would you like that?
Sure, that'd be fun.
Oh, excellent. Maybe we can
might
get
have
a
to take me
NABOR.
off on a stretcher, but it'd be fun.
We'll get a NABOR team together.
Okay.
Everybody will wear spandex, so it'll be great.
Excellent. You don't want this in spandex.
Okay, our last question. What is the last book that you read?
Oh, you know what?
Are you a reader?
Yeah.
Kindle or an actual book?
A book. I can't do Kindle.
Yeah, me too.
It's still on my desk, and I can't. Ed Milet, The Power of One. No. The Power of Why, I think it is. I forget what it is, but it's a new book, and
so nonfiction?
Nonfiction, no.
Motivational?
Yes, motivational.
Yeah.
And I forget the name. You caught me completely off guard. So I have another one sitting on my book on my desk right now that I just cracked. So
I love that you read, though.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't read anymore.
Well, yeah, you know, the only way to learn is to educate yourself, and the best way to educate yourself is in books.
Yeah. That's why I mispronounce everything, because I read it, I haven't heard it pronounced.
Because if you tend to rely on what the internet tells us, you know where that goes. So.
I know, it's a scary world out there. Well, I am so glad that we played this game and that everybody was able to get to know you a little bit better.
I appreciate it.
And really, just thank you for stopping by the NABOR set here at Real Talk and sharing a little bit about your business and your brand. I hope you won't be a stranger.
Absolutely not. I appreciate you inviting me very much so.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.